I really missed our guys beating up on the media last night in the debate. Did you watch the debates last night? I really missed that. Some of the drive-bys are saying it was boring last night. Here, I'll grab sound bites 2 and 3. Let me illustrate to you. Here's Charlie Rose leading off. This is the beginning of the CBS This Morning show just this morning.
Welcome to CBS This Morning on this Veterans Day. The latest Republican presidential debate reveals sharp policy divisions among the candidates. Unlike their last primetime debate, they did not complain about the questions, and the focus this morning is on their answers.
Damn it! You can just hear "damn it" in his voice. Damn it, we wanted to be focused to be anything but the issues. We wanted the focus to be anything but. What do you think, Mr. Snerdley, little pop quiz? No wrong answer, it's an opinion. What do you think was one of the most revelatory, not people, things, issues last night? What was one of the most, I'll tell you what it is, in fact, just to show you I'm not, I think when Cruz, this is another thing, I feel like apologizing to you people for letting this go and not clarifying this, because I've just assumed, I make too many assumptions here based on my belief in the awareness and intelligence of people. When Ted Cruz said, you people are missing the point, I'm paraphrasing here, illegal immigrants, I'm sick and tired of me being called anti-immigrant. I'm not anti-immigrant. Do you people not understand this is an economic issue? We are destroying people's wages. We are importing low-skilled, low-educated people. We are hurting the economics of American citizens. Bingo! Cruz's point was that he's fed up with all these allegations to be anti-this and anti-that, anti-immigrant, when he's pro-American. But the point that illegal immigration, it's been right in front of my face. Maybe it's something you all have realized long ago. I mean, I knew it. It's just I haven't voiced this either. The people pushing, including Kasich. I'm thinking of doing a Kasich impersonation today, by the way. I did for Snerdley, and he says, you got to do this on the air. I said, I'm afraid if I start doing my Kasich impersonation on the air, I may start uttering profanities. And the broadcast engineer just sit up there, bleep this and bleep that. I don't know. But I'm thinking about it. Jeb and Kasich and all these other guys, they look at it as a civil rights issue, and the left looks at it as a civil rights. They almost look at it as a racial issue, and it's not. To me, it's never been a civil rights issue, but to them it is. These are the poor of the world, and they are people of color, and they are coming here wanting to improve their lives. And who are we to say no? So for them, they think it's an act of compassion to welcome them in. And if we disagree with ignoring the law, then we are called racist. And it's not about that at all. It's about sustaining the U.S. economy, the job market, the wage base, all these kinds of things. Anyway, the subject of immigration, of course, was the big subject last night. And in fact, Jeb even woke up during that just to show you how much he cares about this. He came alive. But I thought one of the most telling lines when they're discussing all this, and Jeb says, well, you talk about deporting people. You're going to deport people, 11 million, 12 million people. You realize they're doing handstands and applauding over the Clinton campaign? And Trump comes in. You ever heard of Ike? I like Ike. Dwight Eisenhower. You mean Ike? I like Ike. We like Ike. Everybody likes it. You know what Ike did? I got rid of 1.5 million. I mean, he deported, but it can't be done. And, of course, the other two guys, their Bruce Babbitt routine, trying to respond to it. But I really do think, here's what Cruz said. When the mainstream media covers immigration, it doesn't see it as an economic issue. But I can tell you for millions of Americans at home watching this, it's a very personal economic issue. He's exactly right. And this is something, again, I'm feeling a little embarrassed having not voiced this myself yet. Feel it's the primary aspect of this issue. It's an economics, plus illegal. It's legal and economics. There's no civil rights here. There's no compassion here. It's not racist at all. The way the left looks at this is why it's so destructive. And we're supposed to tear down our country. We're supposed to wreck our economy for compassion. Anyway, Cruz said, I will say that politics, if it would be very, very different if a bunch of lawyers or bankers were crossing the Rio Grande. And at first, the crowd didn't get it. You could hear some rumbling and a little, but you didn't hear a whole lot of bankers. But then when Cruz said, or if a bunch of people with journalism degrees were coming over and driving down the wages in the media, then you would see an entirely different take on this issue from the drive-by media. And he's exactly right. And made the point extremely well. But I think the most fiery moment last night came when the candidates talked about Trump's plan to deport illegal aliens. It matters so much, Jeb came alive. And Trump was entirely correct to point out the history, what Eisenhower did. And I don't think Trump went far enough, actually. In reality, Harry Truman, another Democrat president, deported illegal aliens, over 3.4 million. Did you know that? You did not know about Harry Truman? Well, then I'm happy to be able to inform you. Harry Truman deported illegal aliens, 3.4 million of them. You add that to the 2.1 million Ike deported, or who left on their own at the time. Nearly 6 million illegal aliens were deported or left voluntarily under those two highly beloved presidents. The country didn't fall apart. And we didn't become a bunch of racists overnight. We didn't lose our compassion. We didn't lose our big hearts. And again, I remind you, there wasn't any immigration. The reason why these were deportations, because there wasn't any immigration from like 1924 to 1965. And in those years is when Eisenhower and Truman served. I mean, there was illegal immigration. We got rid of them. I know that sounds harsh. We deported them. They were breaking the law. And at the time, of course, the Truman and Eisenhower were in the midst of a post-war, particularly with Eisenhower, post-war economic boom, and there was no way we were going to dilute it and water it down by allowing people to break the law and come into the country. And here's Kasich and Bush. You can't do that. You can't break up these families. You can't see these people apart and so forth and so on. Like so many other things in history, we did and we can. But overall, folks, the drive-by is not happy because the issues were on the plate. Here's F. Chuck Todd on the Today Show today with Willie Geist. Question, not a ton of fireworks in the debate last night, Chuck, but there was something radical, policy. See? Conservatives discussing policy. It's radical. Yes, you see how this works. They talked about taxes, Chuck. They talked about spending. They talked about immigration. Radical stuff, Chuck. Who did that benefit the most, do you think, Chuck?
I think it hurt the two frontrunners because I think Donald Trump and Ben Carson both struggled when it came into some policy details. Marco Rubio, he never got challenged at all. He got to sort of stay on script, totally duck the immigration issue. I don't think we're going to remember this debate in 2 days.
No, we're not going to. You know why? Because there were no fireworks, because the media didn't go after and try to destroy these guys. That's why it was boring. Yeah, it was boring. Nobody's going to remember it. F. Chuck and the boys hate this. You see, the purpose of a Republican debate is for the drive-by media to make them look bad. The objective of the drive-by media is to take them out. The objective of the media in every Republican debate is to get rid of at least one of the candidates. And last night, not one of the candidates was gotten rid of. In fact, a lot of the candidates either held steady or might have shored up their position. Not that it's going to matter too much in the end. And everybody's misunderstanding Trump on this. And but before Trump, Cruz, awesome last night. Post-debate polling shows it. Marco, awesome last night. Carly was good last night, but the problem with Carly is we won't hear from her again until the next debate. What's she doing with these? You know, she's getting rave reviews on these. Trump. Would you make her stop interrupting? She's just interrupting. Trump gets booed for that, privately applauded and so forth. And one of my favorite things, I'm sorry, folks, but one of my favorite was Trump. Come on, let's let Jeb talk, okay? We let Jeb talk. Do you realize how cold that? I mean, that folks was brutal. That was brutal in so many ways. And then added to it later on, Jeb thanked Trump for letting him speak. Tried to be jocular about it. But now these guys in the drive-bys are upset because there weren't any fireworks. Discussion, Republican issues, boring, radical, nothing to see, nothing to do. Problem is the media didn't make a name for themselves. The media stayed out of the way. Even when the barn burner arguments got started, the media kind of backed out for a while until they had to start ringing that infernal chime, whatever it was, to denote the time limit had been reached. Ben Carson opened up much more energetic than he had been. Everybody says he's got the best close of the night, his closing remarks. Consensus opinion from all the analysts was that Carson's close was the best. But the thing about Trump is that the drive-by saying, Trump's, we don't hear from Trump much. He doesn't say much in these debates. He's not nearly as fiery. And that's not true. Trump, there's a theory. No, it's not a theory. It's an adage. And it is applicable to a lot of things. You cannot be hurt by what you don't say. By the same token, a music radio station cannot be hurt by a song it doesn't play, or a record it doesn't play. The way a radio station gets hurt is people tune out. So you hear a song, oh, I don't like that song, hit the button, change stations, listen to something else. But if you don't play a song that people don't like, that won't happen to you. So it's the same thing with words. You cannot be hurt by something you don't say. Unless, look, there's exceptions. Unless you are set, like Romney. Romney was hurt by something he didn't say in a debate with Obama over Benghazi. He was set up with a hanging curveball, and they decided not to go there because they thought they were cleaning up and they were going to be nice guys and be above the fray.